So today we're going to be having a look at defending. So we're going to look back at an LFM race where I had a really good start and I got up to 4th after starting outside the top 10. And for the final about 12 minutes I had one particular car right on the back of me. So today we're just going to have a look at how to defend from someone, especially if they are a little bit quicker than you, how you can put your car in the right place at the right time. So let's get straight into it after the intro. So let's start here. We've got 12.5 minutes left of the race, and I can see the McLaren behind me is definitely a little bit quicker. So when someone starts catching you in a race and you know they're quicker, but there isn't that long left of your race or your stint and you want to try defending a bit, one of the best things to do is just put your car in the right place. So either keep it on the racing line or hold the inside line as best you can. But this does vary by each corner, because some corners it's better to hold the outside line so you then have the inside line of the next corner. Turn 1 and 2 is a good example of that. Sometimes holding the inside line can be good, but if they outbrake you and go around the outside, then they have the inside for turn 2 and then can get the move done. So depending on the track, how you defend is slightly different. As you can see, we are at Nürburgring for this one. So let's jump straight into it and just analyse what we do. So here, as you can see, we've got the McLaren in our rear view mirror now, and he's just about 0.4 of a second behind. So when you see the delta starting to close in, one of the worst things you can do is start looking in your rear view mirror and wondering where the McLaren is. What you want to do is just ignore the car behind unless he starts getting close enough to get alongside. But when he's 0.4 back, if you just focus on what you're doing and drive the best lines you can, that'll help your pace and consistency. But as soon as you start looking in your rear view mirrors, you will start to make mistakes. So that's what I'm doing just now. As you see, we're actually up on the delta on this lap. I'm just trying to focus on myself. So one of the best things to learn when you're thinking about defending is being able to look at the rear view mirror with your peripheral vision. So when you're driving on a road, for example, and you're looking forward, you usually can see if there's a car on your right or your left just out your peripheral vision. Without you actually having to look at the car, you know it's there. So you want to be able to do the same thing with your rear view mirror. You want to be able to focus on your line and your braking zone, but be able to just know where the car is behind you, if he's still behind you, or if he's about to dart down the inside. So you want to be able to look at the rear view mirror without becoming fixated or focused on it, because then that's when you make mistakes. And that's why you see a lot of people moving around when they're behind you, because they're trying to get you to look in your rear view mirror and then miss your braking point. So coming into the chicane, as you see, he's starting to get right on the back of me. As you see, taking quite a bit more curb than I do through there. One of the McLarens that like to dive bomb into turn 1. So he is getting very close, and now coming into turn 1, we're gonna, as you hear, watch out for that dive bomb into turn 1, because it's very commonplace to dive bomb into turn 1 here. But thankfully he doesn't send it there, so we're able to take the racing line and just hold it. So as you see, coming into the next sector, we're still only 0.2 of a second, but we are up on our delta, so we're just trying to focus on ourselves. But as you see here, getting very, very close in the braking zone. but we're just trying to focus
Yeah,
on
it definitely
ourselves.
appears to be safe. I've had a few races where as soon as I've had to try to defend from someone, they've just decided to brake 50 metres late into turn 1 and push me onto the grass. So I'm now a bit careful when it comes to defending at Nürburgring. It is very hard to overtake, so sometimes you've got to send it or force the car in front into a mistake. But a lot of people like to just send it. You're back. How are you finding the new Porsche then? How are you finding it? Enjoying it?
And as you see here, this is where we're going to start defending. So as you see, he got a better exit out of the final corner. Not the final corner, the last corner. We were able to take that inside line, but one of the things you've got to be careful of with taking the inside line is, depending on the track conditions, sometimes there's less grip, so you have to brake early. But also, you've got to be very adaptable, because if you take the inside line and you brake early and you hold the inside line, sometimes then go on to the outside and you have to leave them space if they're alongside. But sometimes they'll back out and then you have to push a little bit more and use all the track. So you've got to be careful that you don't compromise yourself too much by holding the inside line if they're not on your outside. So that's what we've done here. He's went for the outside, so I've kept the inside, but now he's backed out. I'm able just to take the normal line, but I make a little bit of a mistake, take too much curb, but again, just trying to hold this inside line and get the best exit I can out that final corner.
It's unbelievable nice. Awesome. It is such a fun car to drive. So not tried it on an R Factor, but I've tried it on other sims and it is amazing to drive.
Again, just trying to gauge whether or not he's going to be close enough to dive bomb it. Focusing on our braking point, but using our peripheral to just look at that rear view camera. Making sure he is definitely behind us. And then here, as you see, he's quite close on us. He's trying to get that cut back. So just trying to place the car right where you want it. As you see, turning in a little bit early there, just to prevent a dive bomb. And then just trying to hold the line as best we can. Sectors like that, if you just hold the racing line, it's actually quite hard for them to try and overtake you. Here again, don't get the best of exits, but just putting the car on the inside there, trying to hold the racing line, but not going too far over onto the inside on the entry, just so we don't compromise our exit speed. Again though, he's getting the slipstream, so I'm going to hold the inside through the chicane, try not to make the same mistake of bumping over the curb. Here he backs out, so I'm able to take the racing line. And now into the final corner, I go for the inside. Try not to get too much wheel spin on corners like this. It's very easy to just stamp on the throttle, and if you don't have the correct traction control or enough grip, it's very easy to lose the back end and then they'll get you on the straight. So here again, he's got that good exit. We're holding the inside line. He backs out, goes for the cutback, so then I've got to adapt and hold the inside to the next corner. Again though, you've got to hold it really tight, because as you see, he was trying to get the cutback on us. He was hoping that we would use all the track and go wide, but that's one of the things you've got to watch when you use the inside line, is it's very easy for the car behind to do a cutback, so you've got to sometimes just watch your rear view mirror to see what they're doing. Try not focus on it, but just keep an eye whether they're trying to go for a cutback or not, because it's very easy to make that mistake of holding the inside line and then going too wide and they are able to get the cutback, or you hold the inside too much and you don't get a good enough exit speed and they get you on the next corner. So again, into the hairpin, holding that inside the line and then trying to get the best exit we can. But so far, really good battle, and now we've got just 8 minutes left. And as you can see, he's definitely quicker than we are, but we're just able to try put the car just in the right spot.
It's nice to actually see people racing with 4 laps left. Or 3 laps left, I'm not sure.
Now there, didn't get the best of exits, but again, trying to hold the inside line. As you see, he's going for the cutback and just holding the inside line for these 2 corners. And then just taking the racing line through the next right-hander and then able to stay ahead. It's another good thing to remember with defending, is actually try and learn the way your opponent attacks. Because often your opponent will try the same tactic on you the next lap. So like that, we already knew he was going to try the cutback into turn 2 because he had already done that on a previous lap. So trying to remember how they try and attack you is really good because you can defend from it if they use the same thing again.
Defend, yeah. I would say I'm not fantastic with attacking and overtaking, but I like to think that I defend alright. But I'm not fantastic at sending it for overtakes because of like I don't like to dive bomb people and stuff. But I like to defend best I can. Big Porca. Yeah, basically just trying to make my Porsche as big as possible.
Now again, coming into the chicane, he gets a good slipstream on us, so again we're going to hold that inside line. Into the braking zone, as you see, stays on the outside for a little bit longer but then backs out. So we take the racing line. And then just try and watch the final corner because this is where he seems to get a good exit on us. So just trying to get down on the throttle as early as possible. And as you see, we get a good enough exit just to stay ahead. So now we've only got 2 laps left, so we're just trying to make sure we don't make any mistakes. Coming into turn 1, as you see, he does get a better exit. So again, I'm just going to hold that inside line in case he tries to cut back. A little bit of contact, nothing much, so I don't think it even damaged the car, to be honest.
Tiny touch there.
Now as you see, we get a little bit of a gap there because he has a bit of a bounce through, I think that's the Schumacher S. And as you saw, the McLaren just bounced a bit too much on the curb, so that gives us about a 1/6 of a second gap now coming on to the final lap. So that's going to help us, give us a bit of breathing room. So when you're in a battle like this and you're defending, as soon as the car behind makes a mistake, you want to just focus on trying to extend that gap as much as possible. Try and get out of that slipstream range if possible.
Okay. Final lap. Look how much I'm already up on the delta now that I'm not defending and just taking the normal racing line instead of having to hold the inside. Immediately like 0.3 of a second up. Thankfully the cars behind us were in a big train and battling, so no one really caught up to us whilst we were battling, because that was my only worry with that defending. It was that.
And then here we make a slight mistake just on the final lap, trying to push a little bit too hard into the braking zone.
The Audi, the number 2 Audi, who was quite quick. It was only him that started to catch us. Oh, that's another contact. He didn't take the position, so fair play to him. I locked up my brakes, so I had to hold them a bit longer, because if I came off them too quickly, I think I would have just spun. I locked up on the entry, so that wasn't his fault. I was hard on the brakes, and I have been every other lap, so that was impossible for him to anticipate.
After that,
Stuck on the brakes.
a little bit of a mistake by me on the brakes there, as you saw.
The second highest license and the highest license are both behind us. Be interesting to see what we get.
And now into the chicane, again a little bit of pressure from the McLaren. He's trying to put that pressure on, so I just hold the inside line, try not to outbrake myself, and just get on that power early. And as you see, able to hold the position.
Good battle. Good battle. That was a good one.
So in summary, to defend effectively, what you really want to do is to be able to stop the car behind you overtaking without you losing too much time. Especially in slightly longer races, if you have to defend a little bit, you don't want to be losing seconds to the car in front because you're trying to hold on to one position. So you want to be able to defend without losing too much time. So you can do that by a few ways, by making sure that you just focus on yourself, making sure you don't make any mistakes, just focus on your braking, your turning points and your acceleration points. Try not to make any mistakes, and if you can just hold your line, then you might be able to stay far enough ahead. But if the car behind you is faster, if it's an endurance race, you might not want to defend. You might want to let him by so you don't lose to the cars in front. But if it's like the race we had there where it was a sprint race, there was only 10 minutes, 12 minutes left, you might want to try and defend. So some of the ways that we can do that, as we saw, were holding the inside line on some of the slow corners, but making sure that we were very adaptable. So if you hold the inside line and a car comes on the outside, you've got to be adaptable to give them space on the outside. But if they then back out of the outside line, you want to then get back on the power and use the rest of the track. So try not to compromise your line and your exit speed too much by trying to defend. And again, with the defending, one of my best things that I personally found is being able to focus on your own driving, look at your braking points, your turning points, and just look at the rear view mirror with your peripheral vision. Try not to get focused on your rear view mirror, because if you get focused on it, that's when you start making mistakes and you miss your braking point and stuff like that, and then it's very easy for the car behind. Just try and be consistent, not make any mistakes, and then sometimes hold the inside line and just be adaptable is really the best way to defend, is just being that bit more adaptive. If you guys want to see that entire stream, the link is in the description down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any suggestions for some more videos, now that I'll have a bit more time, please leave them down in the comments down below and I'll try to do my best to make some of those videos. But as always guys, thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and see you again next time.